and welcome back to my channel, Sea Panda Crafts. For those of you that are new here, welcome. My name is Wendy, and today I am going to be talking about junk journaling and what junk journaling is. I know a few of you have not requested, but have expressed interest in what junk journaling is and have made a few comments. In my past videos, usually on my hauls, I'll be talking about something, oh, this would be good to use in junk journaling, and a few people have mentioned, what is junk journaling? I've never heard of that, or I just learned about junk journaling. I would love to see a video. So this video is for you. And so, like I said, today I'm going to be talking about what junk journaling is and my, perception or definition of it. I know everybody has their own opinions on what junk journaling is, and so I'm just going to be sharing with you a few of my personal junk journals, and then talking a little bit about what it is. So junk journaling, in my opinion, and again, I'm just going to reintegrate that, in my opinion, junk journaling in a nutshell is a form of scrapbooking. It's a way to store all of your memories, to journal about them, to put memorabilia in one place. And junk journals are handmade. So this is one that I have made myself. This one, I think, was the second junk journal that I've ever made. And it is hand bound, and it is made up of what is called signatures. And a signature is basically a group of papers or envelopes or whatever, and it is folded in half and then bound in signatures. So as you can see, this junk journal has 3 signatures, so 1, 2, and 3. And like I said, basically junk journaling is a way to store your ephemera. And if you're not familiar with what ephemera is, by definition, it is how do I say this? It's things that were only meant to be used or enjoyed for a short amount of time. I think that's the actual dictionary definition. I can't believe I remember that. But so things like ticket stubs, park maps, postcards, things like that are all examples of ephemera, and I have always saved those things. Whenever we go to a theme park or a movie theater, I've always saved those things and kind of just kept them in a box. And when I found out about junk journaling, I was like, oh my gosh, what a perfect way to save all of those things. And it also doubles up as kind of like a diary. I can journal and write my thoughts about that day or that memory or that experience in my junk journal. And I can also do art collages, whatever I want to do in my junk journal, which is what makes it so unique and not just catered to one specific thing, if that makes sense. So I'm just gonna quickly show you guys one of my personal junk journals and what kinds of things I have in there. And I've done a kind of flip through. It was one of my very first videos. I don't think it got a lot of views on it, but I did kind of like a little flip through. But here is a few pages. So I just have some memory keeping and pictures in here, and like little journal cards I can write on. And a lot of you ask what I do with book pages. I actually use them in my junk journals. So you can see right here. And there's so many cool ways you can do a page. And I see a lot of people doing like sewn pages, and I actually don't know how to sew, so I hand sewed these like little pockets in here. I'm not doing a very good job of showing you guys. But junk journaling, I think the origin of junk journaling, or the first junk journals, I'm going to say junk journals in this video quite a bit, so get ready. It was first made to only be made out of junk. So paper bags, things that, like magazines, newspapers, wrappers, things like that. All the pages were made out of junk. And it has kind of changed over time, like most things in our world. And now it's become where you not only use those types of junk in your journal, but you can also use scrapbooking paper, just regular writing paper. I see a lot of coffee dyed papers like this. I coffee dyed this paper, and to make it look old or worn, like vintage. And I still use envelopes like from junk mail. So this was like a really pretty junk mail envelope I got. I think it was for a credit card. And I just use it in my junk journal as a like little pocket to put a photo in. And so when I'm saying about like old, like the first junk journals, they were typically just made out of stuff like this. So just envelopes and bags and like brown paper bags and newspapers and things like that, wrappers. But as you can see here in this junk journal, I have not only those things, but I also have scrapbooking paper and other papers and maps, things like that I've used. So this is just an example of a, I guess, mixed media junk journal is what you would call it. I guess all junk journals are really mixed media, but because you're using different things. So a lot of times people, when they use junk journals, they make them for a specific reason. So like this one, for example, I used during Christmas, and I made like little tassels and decorated it and everything. And I was doing like a December daily, and I didn't really finish it. So I'm just going to use this one specifically for Christmas memories. So like right here, I have a card, which is also like a piece of ephemera because I got this from a family member. And then I just have pictures and like again, I use envelopes to store things or store pictures. And again, some more ephemera. I have a ticket stub from the Polar Express and pictures. So it is like scrapbooking essentially and journaling, because I write a bit. I don't write too much in my junk journals just because I'm short on time, but I use mine mostly like scrapbooking. And then, so you can make a junk journal specifically for a season, like spring, summer, winter, fall, or a holiday like Christmas, like I have that one. Or like I have made, this was the first junk journal I ever made, and it's kind of, you can kind of tell. But this one I made for my son, and it is just a scrapbook for his memories, for his baby pictures, he's 10 now, but for all of his things. So this one is also 3 signatures, and you could tell I was just learning because these signatures aren't exactly lined up correctly, but I love it. I actually used an old, it was called a linen book from, I think, the 50s or 60s. And I used it as the cover and in the pages of his book. So I have some coffee dyed paper right here, and then I have some of those book pages in there. And it just gives it like this old, vintage feel. And I can scrapbook and memory keep. And I have like some little notes that he left me that I wanted to save and things like that. So those are some examples of junk journals, the 3 that I have right here in front of me. I have a few more that I've made, and this is not really considered a junk journal. This is considered like a traveler's notebook. So say, you don't have kids, or your time of, raising kids is done, or if you like to travel with kids, you could do a traveler's notebook like this. And usually traveler's notebooks are a specific size, and I'm trying to remember what they are, but they're specific size because they fit inside a traveler's notebook. So a traveler's notebook has like an outer cover that you can just slip in these pages or the signature into. This is just one single signature that is bound. And I did this one for a trip we went on to Friday Harbor. And again, I have like little, like a little cookie bag that we got on the trip, and just some memory keeping, some spots to journal, and some maps. So I save all kinds of ephemera like that for my journals. A traveler's notebook is awesome for that. If you like to keep those things like ticket stubs and you are looking for a place to put them, a traveler's notebook is not really considered a junk journal, but I consider it a junk journal just because it kind of serves the same purpose. I can journal as well as memory keep. And then I also forgot to share that junk journaling can also be used as an art journal. So like I said, typically people make junk journals for a certain thing. Some people just like to memory keep and put memorabilia and ephemera in there. And some people like to journal or do both journaling and memory keeping. And then some people like to use junk journals specifically as like an art journal. I like to use my junk journals for all three of those things. I don't really limit myself to that. And so an example of like my art journaling is like this page that I did. I watercolored some planets and then cut them out and then glued them on this paper and tried to make it look like a galaxy with some paint. And I think I have another art page in here. It's all stuck together. So like right here, I have like a tea bag right there. I think this is a coffee filter that I did. Yeah. And just play around with it. And a junk journal can be anything you want it to be. And that's what's amazing about it. And I actually didn't, I just started junk journaling about 2 years ago. And the cool thing about this is I was watching a video on YouTube. I learned about junk journaling from YouTube, which is one of the reasons why I love YouTube, is because you can discover so many things. And I don't remember whose channel I was watching, but I clicked on one of the video, like suggested videos after, and I kind of went down the rabbit hole that is YouTube, and I like just discovered this whole new world, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, and I want to do that, and I want to learn everything about it. And so I'll link a couple of my favorite channels down below if you're interested. These women have, I think, been doing it for quite a while, and they have some pretty in-depth tutorials on like the binding process and everything. And until I get a video up myself, if you want to learn how to do that and get started on your own journal, if you're interested, I will go ahead and link those channels down below, and they have tutorials and everything on there so you can learn how to do that. I do plan, I wouldn't say I would plan on it. I will make a video showing the binding process and maybe like a junk journaling supplies, like basic supplies video. If there is enough interest, I will do that. Just let me know down in the comment box if that's something you want to see. And so yeah, I hope that explains kind of what junk journaling is. If you've been curious about it, I hope I did a good job explaining it. It's just kind of, junk journaling is like one of those things, it's like what you make of it. What is your idea of it? And there's so many different opinions on what junk journaling is, and in all honesty, it's whatever you want it to be, if that makes sense. There are a few basic things like you see in pretty much all junk journals, is that, you know, the signature portion and a couple of other things, but other than that, it's just whatever you want it to be. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more of my content in the future, be sure to hit the subscribe button at the end of this video. I would love to have you as part of my YouTube family. And until my next video, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Bye.